Hello and welcome to Open Boosters. We're going to be opening up Shadows over Innistrad. This was sent to me by Deriums after we did the trade for the revise. This is the first box of 2. Alright, let's get cracking, see what we get. I'm pretty much going to be just showing the mythics, rares, and foils. Dun-dun-dun. And then we'll see if we check the prices at the end. Alright. Dun, 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 dun. Let's do this. Alright. While to get into the groove. Okay. Behold the Beyond. Okay, behold the Beyond. 2 black and 5. Discard your hand and search your library for 3 cards and put those cards into your hand. Then shuffle your library. Oh, foil. Cult of the Waxing Moon. Alright. And Sin Prodder, Red and 2, and Menace. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library. Any opponent may have you put that card into your graveyard. If a player does, Sin Prodder deals damage to that player equal to that card's converted mana cost. Otherwise, put that card into your hand. Whoop. Alright. Visen's Judgment, Red and 1, Madness, Red next. Visen's Judgment deals 2 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures or players. If a Visen's Judgment's Madness cost was paid, it deals X damage divided as you choose among these creatures and or players instead. What was there? Hope everybody's having a good day. Rattle Chains, blue and 1, flash, flying. When Rattle Chains enters the battlefield, target spirit gains hexproof until end of turn. You may cast spirit spells as though they had flash. Alright, foil planes. Shiny, shiny. Okay. Bygone Bishop. White and 2. Flying. Spirit Cleric. Flying whenever you cast a creature spell with a converted cast cost 3 or less. Investigate. Those little clue artifacts. Get to draw. Another foil, Therabin Gargoyle, uncommon. Transforms later on after you get 6 mana. Well, after you get 6 mana, after you pump it into it. Alright. Falcon Wrath Gorger, red. Creature Vampire Berserker. Each vampire creature card you own that isn't on the battlefield has madness. The madness cost is equal to its mana cost. Right. Invocation of Saint Traft. Enchantment Aura. Enchant creature has whenever this creature attacks, put a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Exile that token at the end of combat. Tireless Tracker. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, investigate. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, put a +1/+1 counter on Tireless Tracker. I love this card. That one is actually pretty cool. Playing with magic rules. Pumpy. Alright. Fortified Village. As Fortified Village enters the battlefield, you may reveal a forest or plains card from your hand. If you don't, Fortified Village enters the battlefield tapped. And a common Silent Observer foil. Foreboding Ruins. As Foreboding Ruins enters the battlefield, you may reveal a swamp or mountain card from your hand. If you don't, Foreboding Ruins enters the place tapped. You gotta remember to keep it centered. Wow. Hanweir, Militia Captain, white and 1. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 4 or more creatures, transform Hanweir, Military Captain. Whoosh. And then he becomes Westvale Cult Leader. Power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control. At the beginning of your end step, put a 1/1 white and black human cleric creature token onto the battlefield. Dang it. I knew it. Missed one. Jace. Unraveler of Secrets. 2 blue and 3. Scry 1 and then draw a card. -2. Return target creature to owner's hand. And -8. You get an emblem whenever an opponent casts his or her first spell. Each turn counter to that spell. I knew I missed one because I got confused with the rare being there. Oh. There it is. Fevered Visions. At the beginning of each player's end step, that player draws a card. If the player has, your opponent has 4 or more cards in hand, Fevered Vision deals 2 damage to him or her. Mill. Alright. That's a beautiful foil. Elvenwald Hydra, 2 green and 4. Reach. Elvenwald Hydra's power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. When Elvenwald Hydra enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a land card and put it into your battlefield tapped. Then shuffle your library. Then Ordric Lunarch Marshal, white and 3. Legendary creature, human soldier. At the beginning of each combat creature you control, gain first strike until end of turn. If a creature you control has first strike. At the beginning of each combat, creatures you control gain first strike until end of turn if a creature you control has first strike. The same is true for flying, death touch, double strike, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, and any other things that you have, basically. Boom. Da-da, da-da-da-da. Alright. Okay. Elusive Tormentor, 2 black and 2. 1, discard a card, transform Elusive Tormentor. Then poof! Hexproof, indestructible, Insidious Mist can be blocked and can't be blocked. Can't be blocked. Whenever Insidious Mist attacks whenever Insidious Mist attacks and isn't blocked, you may play black and 2. If you do, transform it. It's actually kind of good. I use it to transform those swords. That's just a witch. Alright. The Diagraph Colossus, Zombie Giant. A Diagraph Colossus enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each zombie card in your graveyard. Whenever you cast a zombie spell, put a 2/2 zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped. I like that card. That card's also awesome. Zombies coming out to play. Port Town. As Port Town enters the battlefield, play their island, reveal it, and it doesn't. It enters the. If you didn't, it enters the battlefield tapped. If not, it's not tapped. Craziness. All right. The non-foiled version of Ulvenwald Hydra. Nice. Okay. This one's confusing because sometimes there's 2 rares. Okay. And then Harness the Storm. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, you may cast target card from the same with the man, I can't read today. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, you may cast target card with the same name as that spell from your graveyard. Nice. I like that one too. Flame Blade Angel. Flying. Whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to you, a permanent you control, you may have Flame Blade Angel deal 1 damage to that source controller. Plink. Relentless Dead. 2 black. Madness. This creature can't be blocked except by 2 or more. Oh, Menace. Duh. Menace. Sorry. When Relentless Dead dies, you may pay black. If you do, return it to its owner's hand. When Relentless Dead dies, you may pay X. If you do, return another target zombie creature card with converted mana cost X from your graveyard to the battlefield. Alright. Engulf the Shore. Return to their owner's hands all creatures with toughness less than or equal to the number of lands you control. Whoosh. Then Olivia, mobilized for war. Red, black, and 1. Flying. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may discard a card. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. It gains haste until the end of turn, and it becomes a vampire in addition to its other types. Oh yeah. I like her too. Vampire decks rock. Yeah, that's another one I like as well. So I put the equipment on there. Boom. Anywho. Alright, burn from within. From within deals X damage to target creature or player. If a creature is dealt damage this way, it loses indestructible until end of turn. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. Poof. Look at that. I love that artwork. It's appropriate to the card too. Scourge Wolf. First strike, Delirium, double strike. As long as there's 4 or more cards types among cards in your graveyard. Altered Ego. Blue, green, and 2 and X. Altered Ego can't be countered. You may have Alter Ego enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it enters with X additional +1/+1 counters. Alright. Thing in the Ice. Blue 1 Defender, Thing in the Ice, enters the battlefield with 4 ice counters on it. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, remove an ice counter from Thing in the Ice. Then, if it has no ice counters, transform it. Poof! When this creature transforms, Awoken Horror, return all non-horror creatures to their owner's hand. Okay. Epiphany at the Drowning Yard. Blue and X. Reveal the top X+1 cards from your library and separate them into 2 piles. Opponent chooses one of those piles. Put that pile into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Oh, okay. Startled Awake, 2 blue and 2. Target opponent puts the top 13 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, 2 blue and 3. Put Startled Awake from your graveyard onto the battlefield, transformed. Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. Persistent Nightmare. Sulk. This creature can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. When Persistent Nightmare deals combat damage to a player, return it to its owner's hand. 1/1. Okay. And then Triskaidekaphobia. Black 3. At the beginning of each upkeep, choose 1. Each player with exactly 13 life loses the game, then each player gains 1 life. Each player with exactly 13 life loses the game, then each player loses 1 life. Alright, foil, Moorland Drifter. And then Drosgul Cavalry. Dun, dun, dun. 2 white and 5 flying. Whenever another spirit enters the battlefield under your control, gain 2 life. Put a white and 3. Put a 1/1 white spirit creature token onto the battlefield with flying. All right. Corrupted Gravestone. 2. Corrupted Gravestone enters the battlefield tapped. Tap. Choose a color of a card in your graveyard. Add 1 mana of that color to your mana pool. Asylum Visitor. Black and 1, I don't know why I said that. Vampire Wizard. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, if that player has no cards in hand, you draw a card and you lose life. Black and 1, madness. Alright, Thylas Lieutenant. White and 1. Whenever Thylas Lieutenant enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each human you control. Whenever another human enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Thylas Lieutenant. Okay. Sage of the Ancient Lore. Green and 4. Sage of Ancient Lore's power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand. When Sage of the Ancient Lore enters the battlefield, draw a card. At the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast last turn, transform Sage of Ancient Lore. Vigilance Trample. Werewolf of the Ancient Hunger's power and toughness are each equal to the total number of cards in all players' hands. Beginning of each upkeep, if a player casts 2 or more spells last turn, transform Werewolf of the Ancient Hunger. Okay. Prized Amalgam. Black, blue, and 1. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, if it entered from your graveyard or you cast it from your graveyard, return Prized Amalgam from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped at the beginning of your next end step. Another foil. Rise from the Tides. Okay. Nephilia Moondrakes. 2 blue and 5. Flying. When Nephilia Moondrakes enters the battlefield, target creature gains flying until end of turn. 2 blue, 4. Exile. Nephilia Moondrake from your graveyard. Creatures you control gain flying until end of turn. Surprise attack. Oh, I like that card. Alright. So much fun. From Under the Floorboards. 2 black and 3 Madness, 2 black and X. Put 3 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield tapped and you gain 3 life. If from Under the Floorboards Madness cost was paid, instead put X of those tokens onto the battlefield and you gain X life. I love it. I love that card. Zombies everywhere. Please don't blow them up. Alright. There's a Rush of Adrenaline foil. And we got some ooze. Alright. Inexorable Blob. Green and 2. Ooze. Delirium. Whenever Inexorable Blob attacks, if there are 4 or more creature types among them in your graveyard, put a 3/3 green ooze creature token onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. Crazy. Down to the last 2. Make them good and make them not new. Alright. Okay. Declaration in Stone. White and 1. Exile target creature and all other creatures it controls with the same name as that creature. That player investigates for each non-creature exiled this way. Cute. Drawing for days. Because all you play is the same creatures over and over again. Alright. Here we go. Welcome to the fold. 2 blue and 2 manas, 2 blue next. Gain control of target creature if its toughness is 2 or less. If welcome to the fold menace cost was paid, instead gain control of that creature if its toughness is X or less. Alright. That was our opening. Alright, we're going to do some numbers now. It's going to take me a little while to do that. So I'm going to stop the tape. Alright, have a nice day, guys. Well, no. Stay tuned and I'm going to be right back. Alright, let's do the numbers and do the review of the cards. Now, these are the cards that are worth less than $1. I didn't even bother them with the totaling or anything. But here are the cards. Foil Plains. Rush of Adrenaline. Silent Observer. The Baron Tharbin Gargoyle. Cult of the Waxing Moon. Rise from the Tides. Behold the Beyond. Avician's Judgment. Rattle Chains. Invocation of Saint Traft. Ordric Lunarch Marshal. Diregraph Colossus. Harness the Storm. Flameblade Angel. Burn from Within. Scourge Wolf. Alter Ego. Empathy at Drown Yard. Trixadephobia. Drogskull Cavalry. Asylum Visitor. Sage of Ancient Lore. Prized Amalgam. Nephelia Moondrakes. From Under the Floorboards. Still love that card. Elusive Tormentor. Inexorable Blob. Welcome to the fold. Alright, cards that have value. Start with the foil. Ulven Wald Hydra, $5.50. Sin Prodder, $1.63. Bygone Bishop, $1.06. Falconwrath Gorger, $1.42. Tireless Tracker, $4.65. Fortified Village, $2.79. Foreboding Ruins, $2.79. Handwear Militia Captain, what is it? I'm sorry. $1.76. Wait, what am I off? Yeah, no, I'm not. Okay, $1.76. Okay. And then Jace, $8.80. Fevered Visions, $1.02. Porktown, $2.94. Another Elven Hydra, $2.36. Relentless Dead, $7.22. Engulf the Shores, $1.04. Olivia Mobilized for War, $7.54. Thing in the Ice, $6.87. Startled Awake, $3.55. Thaya's Lieutenant, $4.73. And Declaration in Stone, $10.16. For a total of $78.15. I traded 2 packs of revised for it. Now it's about $100. So, it's okay. I mean, with the 30 cents and 50 cents, I probably crossed about $100 maybe. Alright, this is Open Boosters. Hope you enjoyed. Have a nice day and hit that like button and subscribe.